Good morning, mathematicians. We are going to continue to focus on solving equations today, and more specifically, we are going to solve multi-step equations, and most of our equations are going to take us 3 steps. Whoa, that is bigger than I wanted. There we go. All right, let's get started. Number 1 here. So when we are solving equations, we always want to find our variable. What is our ultimate goal? Our ultimate goal is to figure out what the variable equals to make this equation true. So if we can see here, our variable is stuck inside of subtraction, inside of division. See that? So we have to undo this first, then we have to undo that, and then we have to undo that. So it's like a puzzle. We have to work backwards. So to get this group by itself, we need to take care of that division by 3. So we are going to multiply by 3 on both sides. And when we multiply by 3 on both sides, 3 divided by 3 is 1. So that cancels out, if you will, leaving us with what was on top, 2x minus 1. Equals negative 4 times 3 would be negative 12. And now this looks just like our 2-step equations that we have been doing. So to get 2x by itself, I have to add 1 to both sides. I bring 2x down, and negative 12 plus 1 would be negative 11. And now I'm down to 1 step. I need to get x all the way by itself, so I'm going to divide by 2, and I'm going to write off to the side here. X would equal negative 11 halves. Now, the reason I did not write it as a decimal is because there were no decimals in our problem to begin with. So if there are no decimals, don't write your answer as a decimal. Leave it as a fraction. And that's our answer. All right, let's look at number 3. So again, our ultimate goal is to get our variable by itself. So we want to get a by itself. So we're going to have to undo the multiplication. We're going to have to undo the subtraction. And then we'll have to undo the division. So we're working from the outside in, so we have to take care of the division first, then the addition, subtraction, then the multiplication, division. Right. So our group here is being divided by 6, so the opposite of divide by 6 would be what? Multiply by 6, right. So I'm going to multiply by 6 on both sides. That cancels out over there, leaving us with 3 minus 5a. We still have our equal sign. And negative 10 times 6 would be what? Right, negative 60. Now I'm down to our 2-step equations that we've been working on. I got to move that 3 over, so I'm going to subtract 3 Why did I subtract 3 instead of add 3? Right, because 3 is positive, so we need to do the opposite of that. And the opposite of positive would be negative or subtraction, because negative and subtraction mean the same thing. So 3 minus 3 would be 0. Bring down the negative 5a equals, and negative 60 minus 3 would be negative 63. Divide by negative 5. Why did I divide instead of add, subtract, or multiply? Right, because negative 5 and a are being multiplied together, so I have to do the opposite of multiplication, which would be division. So I'm going to write my answer off to the side here. I get a equals positive 63 over 5. And I can't simplify that any further. Why is the answer positive instead of negative? Right, because we have a negative divided by a negative, and 2 negatives make a positive. We're going to do a couple more together. All right, let's look at number 5. What will be my first step? Right, multiply by 3. Get y minus 1. Bring our equal sign down. 0 times 3 would be 0. What's my second step? Right, we're going to add 1 and bring our y down. We have y equals 1. Is there a third step? Right, there's not a third step. Why? Because our variable is already by itself. It has a coefficient of 1. We know it has a coefficient of 1 because we don't have a number written there. All right, let's look at some problems that look a little bit different. Let's look at number 7. Okay, so we need to identify our variable. Our variable is q. And notice it's inside of division, and it's inside of addition, subtraction. So we have to take care of that addition, subtraction first before we can take care of that division. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. 4 minus 4 is 0. Bring down negative q over 3. Bring down the equal sign. Negative 18 minus 4 would be negative 22. And now, to get my variable all by its lonesome, I have to do something with that 3. So right now, q is being divided by 3. So the opposite of divide by 3 would be what? Yes, multiply by 3. But it's not just a regular 3, it is negative. Okay, we can take care of that negative in one step, so I would recommend doing that. Multiply by negative 3. That cancels out the negative and the 3 over here, leaving us with 1q equals. And 22 times 3 would be 66, and it is it negative or positive? Correct. It is positive because it's negative times a negative, so that would be our final answer. Let's do one more of these together. All right, let's look at number 9. Our variable is here, which is inside of multiplication, which is inside of division, which is inside of addition and subtraction. What will be my first step? Right, add 5. and bring down that negative 4t over 5 as is. Don't add or change anything. Negative 12 plus 5 would be negative 7. Now we could do this in multiple steps, or we could get rid of our coefficient in one step. When we have a fraction coefficient, such as negative 4 over 5 in this example, all we need to do is flip the fraction and multiply. So I'm going to flip my fraction and multiply, because that cancels out here, leaving us with 1t equals 7 times 5 would be 35 over 4, because that's 7 over 1, 1 times 4. Would my answer be positive or negative? Right, positive, because it's negative times negative. All right, your assignment will be very similar. Happy mathing.